Ba-da-ma-da-ma. Oh, hello.
Hey.
How are we doing?
Yeah, good. How's it going?
Marvelous. I like the hat.
Thank you.
I often get reminded from old videos that I used to wear caps in workouts all the time, like early days. And then I found myself like roasting people for wearing caps indoors in CrossFit gyms. And every now and again, a mate will like send a video from like 10, 15 years ago of me working out in a cap. And I'm feeling like I need to start wearing them again.
You know what it is? It is the perfect savior when you don't want to do your hair. When it's chaos up here and you just pop it on. That's the reason.
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
I couldn't wear it training, I don't think.
no.
It would be too willing to fall off.
Yeah. But yeah, it's probably because you go a lot more intense than I do in
Age.
workouts. I watched Age.
Age.
You gotta be old. I was reminded of the fact that I haven't put my pedal to the metal, so to speak, in a workout in a while, other than on a ski erg. But during the open workout that I did on Friday.
Nice.
So I saw your clips, not clips, but I saw the images that you put on Instagram of you on the floor smiling.
I sold my soul. No.
Yeah.
That was after. That was like 10 minutes after.
That was all right. Okay, that was a quick like
I
spruce
haven't been
up.
able to walk for 4 days. Like my
No.
entire lower body is completely shot.
Good to hear. How did that go for you? Did you feel prepped for it? Was it something that you enjoyed doing when you saw it like released? Did you think, oh, that's a bit of me? Like how was that received by you?
Oh, very well. I love anything that is simple, grindy, and those particular movements do suit my skill set. The only thing that's working against me is my complete lack of fitness for the last month or so, because I
Yeah.
have been very busy and I've been traveling a lot. And rather than, I'd say, training every day or give or take rest days, or maybe even twice a day, I'm training like 3 times a week. So fitness
Yeah.
not quite there. But the movement's brilliant. Give me box overs any day of the week. That is my jam. And then the warbles are warbles, right? I was laughing because I was saying to the guys at the gym, I actually think that we've been lulled, right? I'm doing a bit more high rocks at the moment, and I
Mhm.
have been lulled into a 3 kg warble. So I picked up that 6, and I was like, oh, I've forgotten how heavy this feels. I'm not just going for like tons of reps that are lightweight. Like this is
Mm.
tasty, but it was really good. I love the open. I love Friday night lights at the gym. It's everyone brings cakes and like someone made a pie and like all the dogs are there and the kids are super dangerous running around and it's just like a cataclysm of epicness like every time.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Like if anyone needed a little bit of a spur on for CrossFit, they just need to show up on a Friday night during the open. Like that is for
100%.
me, that is for me anyway, that is pure CrossFit. Even more so, I would say for me than like the games. Like for me, Friday night lights in an affiliate during the open feels more like CrossFit from where I'm concerned. Now I totally get the games is like the purified, reducted, like purist state at the tip of the spear level. But as I'm never going to be there, like for me, I think the affiliates is where it's at. John says, good morning. Just about to drive the kids to horse riding. We'll listen on where the weirdest thing is he doesn't have any kids. So I don't know what he does really. As we know,
I'm glad
but
he's
yeah,
taking his kids to horse riding though. I hope they are
yeah,
his, but that was a
yeah.
huge part of how I grew up, and I think it teaches you a huge amount about just like getting stuff done, responsibility. Like so much of my childhood was spent in a stables, like on the back of a horse on a mountain somewhere. I love
See,
it.
I'm a bit. I never grew up around horses. I went horse riding
So
once.
you're terrified of them.
I'm not terrified. I've just got this weird thing about horses where, like, my degree's in history, right? So I spent a lot of time obsessed with like studying politics and socioeconomics of political people throughout history, and like, you know, going through from like medieval through, and the way that I see horses is they are for
A tool for battle.
yeah, right. The big sweaty beasts that are like charging at men, right? And with a man on the back with a sword and a spear and stuff. I don't equate horses to like what they're probably now more seen for as like young girls and women to like bond with and ride and then have fun with and go out on walks and shit all over the fucking road. So I have to deal with it in my car. For me, I can't equate like you as a 8-year-old having like this bond with this big sweaty beast as opposed to the way that I think of a horse as like a war machine. So I can't put those two together. And I've got this weird thing. But my neighbour's daughter, she has a horse, like a pony, down the road in the stables. And my daughter is now like nearly 9, where
Yeah, you wait.
she's saying, "Oh, can I get a horse?" I'm like,
Daddy,
absolutely
can I
not.
have a pony?
Absolutely. I would literally have to sell all the assets that I own, and then that would do a couple of months worth of having a horse. Like, you can go
Oh,
and help at the stables if you want, but I know my daughter full well. I might do that actually. That's a good idea. Send her there for a
that's
week.
what happened to me. Not even a week. My folks just went, all right, down the stables you go, and then it was free childcare for about 5 years of my life.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
they'd drop me off
Exactly.
at 7 a.m. and pick me up at like 7 p.m. And I'd just be at the stables all day, and I'd muck out and I'd brush horses and I'd help on
Yeah.
rides. And if I was lucky, I'd get my favorite horse to ride. You know, it's character
Amazing.
building.
It is. And
You know,
there's no
minus
denying
8
that.
degrees, down the stables, off you
Yeah.
go, take an extra
Yeah.
goat.
Do you know, it's a really good introduction to work ethic for for having dependence upon you, like putting in graft physical labor, getting up early, discipline. I see that. I do see that. But like Henrik
Henrik.
has just said, they do eat humans.
I'm
So
not sure they eat
um,
humans. I mean, maybe they'd take a chunk out of your shoulder if you're not looking, and it's a
mm,
particularly grumpy horse.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
exactly.
introduced
But
my husband to it this week, or not this weekend. A couple of weeks ago, we went ranching. We went to
ranch.
Arizona, and yeah, and
Uh,
we taught him to gallop, and we went and we did some barrel racing, and we went and saw the cattle and checked on the cattle. It was great. It's like every
wow.
English person's dream, real life cowboying.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
curveball.
maybe, yeah. Yeah, a lot of men would dream that. I know you're, the only reason John goes to it is because he wants to be a cowboy. He's got like Stetsons at home, and he's got like this. He's got this mural on his wall for like Clint Eastwood, where he has like all the posters and all that kind of stuff. So,
We're really
um,
learning about each other. So this, like, well, technically, I'm learning about John, but we're really
yeah,
learning.
yeah. But no, I don't know. Do you know the best thing about horses for me is, have you got any weird obsessions on Instagram? Have you got like any secret pages that you like to look at?
I have.
Okay.
I know, no, like, not. I don't know. Like, definitely not. But I do. Like, I'm deep into horse culture on Instagram. I don't even know
Right.
how it happened. Like, I think it's like a nostalgic throwback. And then
Mm,
cheerleading, because that's another background of mine. I love watching cheerleading routines, gymnastics routines over dance routines. But yeah, I can get
mm.
sucked into that
See,
algorithm very quickly.
my daughter's just started cheer, so she's been doing gymnastics and dance, contemporary and acro for the last 4 years, and she's discovered cheer, and now she is full send on that. Like,
Because it's
it's
all of
just
those things put
mm,
together. It's great.
yeah, yeah.
And it's
Um,
slightly less dangerous than I used to hurt myself a lot in gymnastics, and cheer
mhm,
kind of reined me in a little bit.
yeah. Um, my It's not so secret because I share it with everyone. I just send these videos until they tell me to stop. Is my like secret obsession on Instagram is like these videos, and there's two in particular that I like. All right, oh three, sorry, three. One is ear cleaning videos. So like
Oh,
where they're a camera and they like scoop out a
maybe
big
don't
thing of wax.
like share that too
Uh,
widely.
All
I'm
right,
not sure.
two. But it's like when they pull out a bullet of what, and it's like this person hasn't cleaned their ears for like decades, and it just plops out. Oh, it's the best. And secondly, is teeth cleaning. You know, like people have that build up of like plaque around the back, and there's the dentist's video, and they chip away, and it just reveals this clean gum underneath. Oh, it's amazing.
I don't know what to do with this conversation.
Henrik, but the other
Yes,
one,
thank you, Henrik. Yes.
no, I'm not weird. No. And
But
then
everyone has their thing, right? And if teeth cleaning and
yeah,
earwax videos
yeah,
are your thing,
yeah.
then
And the
cool.
third one, which is kind of bringing it back to the conversation, is hoof cleaning. So like
Oh,
where they scrape out between and then
yeah.
they're like they can scoop out some of it and they file it down. There's like sometimes it's like infected and they clean it all out and it's all clean again at the end. I like that. But that's my favorite thing about horses, hoof cleaning.
This has been a great first 10 minutes. I
Yeah,
hope
good.
that no one listens to this because they'll just be like, what the actual?
That's the kind of thing that I think about when I was doing my high
When I'm
rocks, when I was
lying,
running around the
when I'm
jump.
lying in bed at night.
Yeah, yeah. Hoof cleaning. But yeah,
How was your high
bringing it back.
rocks?
Yeah, all right. So this was back in bloody October now, the Birmingham,
Yeah,
Birmingham
Birmingham.
one that was giant. Um, as a first timer, and probably I might do one a year with John around the same time of the year, like October time. But for me, like a few things were apparent. One, the organization, like the this clean cut German like Wurstbrunn durch
Efficiency.
technique, like everything was immaculately done. Two was the aesthetics and the sensory thing that I got from it. So that the sensory not overload, but
No, it's a lot. The music and the
it
like
was
the black and the it's
it was
very
cool.
cool for short periods of time.
Yeah,
When you
it
work
was
4 or
like
5 days in it, I totally understand what you're saying.
but I enjoyed it, and it was like a nightclub. So there were like, and bearing in mind for the last 14 years or so, 15 years, the only kind of comps of that style I've been going to are CrossFit ones, right? So the smells were different. So it smelled of perfume and Red Bull at the High Rocks instead of whey protein and like chalk dust. And then the visuals. So the people that were there were of a
Very
different sort of
different.
yeah.
Yeah, I totally understand that.
And the
It's a
music
different
was
audience.
it is, and
There's a crossover audience, absolutely, but they're appealing to a very different kind of market.
which is great, which is
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
And I feel like if you can look at both and you can see them for what they are and the markets that they are appealing to, and they're both absolutely epic in their own right. And I feel like there's always been this very solid comparison that Hyrox is trying to be CrossFit, and it's taken away from it. But it's like, no, Hyrox is trying to be Hyrox, and that is a whole heap of a different thing.
Yeah. And there's a couple of things to come out of that. One is it's a static event. So in terms of it doesn't change, it's the same event every time. It's not constantly varied. So it's very different in that respect. Two, it's obviously long form. But for me, yes, I was about to bring that up, Henry. I'll wait to bring that up in a sec. For me, it's not varied enough for me with my background, and that's fine. And we even say with CrossFit, it's for anyone but not everyone. The same applies for park run. The same applies for basketball. The same applies for soccer. It's for anyone, but it's not for everyone. Now, High Rocks is probably for more people, I would say, than it's going to appeal to more people than CrossFit. And you just got to look at the numbers of competition. But the fact is, it's an event, not a methodology. So that again, there's a very different distinction there.
Yeah.
Now, what is interesting is I have had a bit back and forward, and we were arguing different points, but I've had a back and forward with a couple of people about 0.1, so 26.1 being a High Rocks style workout. I don't think it is.
I don't think it is
at all. The time domain is completely different. The intensity levels are very different. And two, just because you do wall balls more often, that doesn't mean that it is more geared up for you. And my example would have been if the workout was Grace, you would probably get an Olympic weightlifter able to come top 10 in the world at that, but it doesn't mean that it's a weightlifting event. It's a CrossFit event. It's a very different type of domain. However, Lauren Weeks got like
Is
11:10 or something, 11:08 on this workout. But she's obviously from a CrossFit background originally, and her coach, is it a husband or a partner?
Yeah, her
Ron,
husband's level 3. So
yeah,
they are, and their entire programming business is pretty geared towards that's methodology and that style of training. But like, I mean, I know Miriam von Rohr is now probably way more associated with CrossFit than she is Hyrox, but she came from a Hyrox background, and I imagine her score will be the score to beat based on the speed I saw her operating out on Instagram. And then it's what I loved about it is it opened, and I think they did the same last year as well, to be honest, with the opening workouts. It opens the doors for CrossFitters to give it a go without it seeming intimidating. And
yes.
I think that's very fun for someone like me who's a fan of both sports.
Yep.
Because I can see direct comparisons. But realistically, that's a 12-minute workout. Hyroxes are engineered to go for an hour, you know, so you know, it's for that reason alone, this is not a Hyrox workout. Like, the time domain is so far away. These guys are endurance athletes. They're not explosive CrossFit athletes who maybe go up to 40 minutes to an hour periodically.
Yeah.
So
no.
I totally agree with you. It was a nice introduction for Hyroxers to get involved, but it's certainly not a Hyrox workout.
But what I did find interesting was this. This was CrossFit
I did see this
Instagram account. So it might. I think I'm right in saying this is the first time publicly that CrossFit HQ on socials has acknowledged Hyrox and has spoken to them and their community. I think I could be wrong here, which was really interesting to me. Now, it feeds into this idea, right, that Dan, who runs the gym that I'm at, officially affiliate, he's under the impression that Dave might announce on the Thursday that the first workout of the 2026 games is a Hyrox event. He said that he'd put money on that, and I was like, oh, I don't know if that'd be. But now, like with CrossFit talking to this and going down that route, I'm starting to add fuel to that fire in my mind. I don't know, but like Henrik's just said, and I'll get your opinion on this as well, is the Xenon.
Yeah.
Now
I'm excited about that. I immediately sent it to Mark and was like, Mark, my husband, I was like, should we go compete? Like, can we do the open category? Because that's so much more my skill set than running. It's a really cool concept. I like what they've done. They've done it obviously with kind of like the partnership of Rogue and CrossFit, which is great. The guys behind it are you know, pretty good friends of mine, people who've really helped me in my career. I think I'd like to support it in any way I can. It's a very cool concept that will give the standardized element that CrossFit lacks at the moment, because the heart of CrossFit is that it's not standardized. So it's kind of for those people who like to plan and curate and work towards one thing. That's where this fits in. Again, it's similarities to CrossFit, but it's still not CrossFit, because CrossFit's, you know, the unknowable. So it's interesting. We'll see what happens when it comes to fruition and the kind of athletes that it brings through its doors.
Yeah. I was thinking of like Venn diagrams now, like about, you know, the Venn diagrams that have got like 7 different things and there's loads of different crossover points and all that. Like with IF3 and then CrossFit, that middle bit in the middle between IF3 and CrossFit is this Xenon thing, because CrossFit is a licensed event now, isn't it? And it's a series running through, and it's standardization across like fixed like points, and that's effectively what IF3 and therefore BF3
we're trying to are doing.
But obviously it's very
that
different.
was one of my first thoughts.
Because what IF3 are doing, they're trying to create a genuine, bona fide, regulated sport for grassroots to get involved with. Like, for example, from where we're concerned, UK sport getting lottery funding, going into schools as options for GCSEs, and becoming a fully fledged sport in its own right, just like weightlifting would be, as an example. I keep saying weightlifting because I've got my weightlifting t-shirt on, or hoodie. But it will be interesting to see where that goes. And obviously, it's a private company as well. It's another. I'm assuming it's an LLC, but it's a private entity rather than a sport of like a governing body.
No, it won't.
So I think there's crossover there, but I don't think they're conflicting. I think they will. In all honesty, again, it's an event. It's not a methodology. So it's sort of fits into the realm of high rocks more than it does BF3 and IF3, in my opinion. Just like high rocks it's a static event. It's the same thing each time and retested. So it's really cool addition. And the fact that they're doing it in London later this year, like I mentioned it to my wife. I've stopped
like, oh, we're going to London. I was like, nah, I want to go to Texas.
Yeah, you can.
Like,
yeah,
I want to go to the Dallas Cowboys Stadium.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've stopped sending these ideas to my wife because, like, she's going, like, we've got a third kid, like, we've got a 2-month-old baby, and you keep suggesting flying off the island to go away for a few days. Like, it's like, yeah, I know, but like, it's quite important. Like, these events are quite a big deal. Like, and one of those is the WFP coming to
London.
Yeah,
that would be nice. John texted me immediately. She was like, should we roll it back? I appreciate last time we rolled it back was Aberdeen, so it's a little bit different. London's a bit closer to home.
Yeah, we literally saw, I think Brian I think it would have been either, obviously, I think it was PC, but like, whoever it was put out the thing about the cancellation, and I was reading through it and I was like, oh, that's a shame it's been cancelled. And then it said, because of this, we're moving it to London. I was like, oh, ding. I was like, when? And I was like, same weekend. Oh my God, this is amazing. And then me, Steve, and John and Steve were just like, yeah, let's make it, let's go. Like we go in, and we're like, we're already like saying about like booking.com for hotels, or we need to find out the hotel that the athletes are staying in if there's room there. How are we going to get there? Steve has, I don't think it's a secret now, but Steve's got a vendor spot there. So Steve's going to be with Defiant, is going to be there as a vendor. And what they're after, Steve's looking for someone to do, like, to run the stand with him. He needs an attractive person to help sell the garments. So I think he might be asking John to help him out there. But no, we cannot wait. And the thing is as well, we like later in the year as well, we're going to London for Twickenham for Coaches Congress.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I cannot wait for that, because have you been to a Coaches Congress at all?
No, because they always land on weekends in which I have, like, I can't even begin to describe the amount of times either I've tried to go on, either whether I'm speaking with Henrik or whether that's on my own back, and every single time it clashes with a High Rocks major or or a CrossFit event every time.
Have you looked at this
Probably not anymore, because they're all partnered now, so it's probably a bit more.
Yeah. Have you looked at this year's October event?
Yeah, I haven't. That might be possible, actually, because that might be possible this year.
It's the 3rd and 4th of October.
3rd and 4th. I'll pop it in my diary.
Yes.
And then I'm going to look at it, and it's going to be, I think that will be the Marbella Championships. Is it? It is.
It is. Oh dear.
It's going to go in.
Yeah. Okay. Well, who needs Marbs, you know? But yeah. So there's a question then. So how are you finding work life at the moment? Like, how is that working for you at the moment? Are you happy? Are you peaceful?
I'm not peaceful at all. It's carnage. It's great in the best way, right? Like, High Rocks is growing, and my roles and responsibilities for High Rocks is growing. And so that looks like, at the moment, it's minimum once a month. I think next month I'm away with them 3 or 4 times. So it is busy. Then WFP has very conveniently fallen outside of those dates, which is honestly just a little bit of luck, because if there was a clash, then that is a very kind of internalized dilemma of what to do. But
Mm,
that's both those two together is a really nice balance, which doesn't take me away from home like too much. When I was it the year before last, and I went away and I did the Olympics and I did the Paralympics and I had the games in the middle, and then I had High Rocks on top of that. And like I, as my husband will attest, wasn't here for the best part of, 3/4 of the year. And
mm,
it's not a feasible way to A, have businesses back at home, but actually like have any sort of relationship back at home.
mm,
So
yeah,
so this kind of slightly more settled approach where I'm not trying to do absolutely everything. And I've really narrowed down on just doing fitness. It's been awesome.
good.
But
And do
very
you
much
feel like you've kind of found what you're most peace with, like your role when you're on the floor, whether it be Rogue, whether it be a High Rocks, whether it be the get whatever the event might be in our kind of realm of fitness, and do you find yourself feeling like you're at home on the competition floor in
yeah.
functional fitness? Right.
Yeah, I would say so. Of all of the sports that I've covered, and I covered a lot of sports, it would be fitness or mountain biking where I feel the most at ease and the ability to just it's not a case of learning a sport, it's a sport that you intrinsically know. And I think that I definitely lean more towards the kind of the journalism side as opposed to the coach's side or the ability to, deconstruct movement. I've not come from a strength conditioning background, but so like that role is very much someone else's to take. But when it comes to interacting with people and understanding things about them and about the floor and movement flow, I feel very, very comfortable. And then mountain biking, I felt the same, but that was something
Mm,
that I'd learned. I hadn't grown up doing mountain biking, whereas I do feel since the age of 21, I have done functional fitness in some capacity.
mm,
And then it's different with High Rocks than it is with CrossFit because I see them so much that like they're just bona fide friendships, right? Like the athletes are friends of mine. They're not like the athletes. We all like
mm,
catch up out of competition and go for coffees, and I know about their lives and I know their partners and their families, and um not every single one of them because obviously there's a bit more of a rotation now, but the core gang certainly, and that makes me feel very at home because we're all in it together trying to drive sport forward together, which is really nice. And WFP's kind of allowed me that to a certain extent with the CrossFit field,
mm.
which has been really cool as well. So I've got to know those guys a lot better over the last year, because I'd never done indie outside of Europe prior to WFP.
Right. And is there this might not be an obvious. I mean, Rogue is in itself very different and unique from all the other events
Oh
anyway,
yeah,
being the invitation and the size of it. Um, but to reflect on John's point, Heroic Rogue is 10 out of 10. She brings so much to the live experience. Like, I think you only get to realize that how important your role is on the mic, being in the stadium, watching and listening. I don't think I think that is more the in-person experience for the people in
yeah.
there, like the games you played, like the burpee
It's ridiculous,
pounding
but
thing.
so
Yeah,
fun.
yeah,
I
and it's
know.
cool. It's kind of like, and then who was the athlete that got on the decks, like on the DJing?
Yeah, Gabby McGowan.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Gabby jumping on
legend.
the mic.
And
Just
then
just
actually having all the legends and just like being able to like bounce off and do stuff. Like I was responsible for getting Rich Froning from one side of the stadium to another to do some filming. Do you know how stressful that is? Like,
well, we
but
saw you doing it.
yeah,
Like
you
you
can't
haven't.
get him anywhere.
Yeah, you went through the vendor village and you went towards the strongman bit, the
Yeah, I was
throwing of the
like,
bits and pieces. Yeah,
no,
I
I
saw you like arm like going through like this with your elbows. But
sorry,
yeah,
I'm so
I can't imagine the pressure of that.
I'm
But
just gonna
like,
hide you here. No, it's
do you?
I love that role. Love it
Mm,
because I mean I've done that role a lot, right? That's not my first rodeo in that kind of thing, that capacity. I used to do it for England rugby at Twickenham Stadium. I've done it. I did it for the Olympics. That was my main role at the Olympics. So like this is something that I do. I just don't do it in this space because I really enjoy the more serious side of my job. Like I take it very seriously. So having that as my one-off the year where I can just like let loose and I don't need to worry about numbers, statistics, history. I just get to interact with people. It's
mm.
epic. It's so fun, and loads of thought goes into it. It's with me and Tommy, the producer, and then the team at Rogue. We spend like 3-4 months in the build up, kind of producing games and working out what might work and what worked last year. How do we improve on last year? How do we make it better this year? How can we engage people more? What didn't work, and how do we avoid those moments again? How do we make sure we're choosing the right people to get involved in the games to get the best out for the audiences? Like, there's a huge amount of thought that goes into what looks on the surface of us just having a bit of a laugh.
Yeah, I always tend to do this, and for me it works. You can find some similes in terms of like coaching a class, like coaching at the affiliates.
Yeah.
If you don't know what you're coaching, if you haven't prepared, if you haven't read the session plan, if you don't understand the stimulus of what we're after, every minute of that session is going to be robotic and unprepared, and you don't then have license to be creative or have fun with it. If you have prepared and done everything that you can and it's in here, there's a freedom that comes with that when you're walking around the class. And that's what I love watching about like the seminar staff and experienced coaches. They look calmer when they're coaching, and the reason for that is confidence. The reason they know what they're doing inside out, which gives them this freedom, this license to have fun when they're doing it. So it's the same with yourself. If you've put in enough prep time and understand what you're trying to achieve with every step of the way, and you've rehearsed it enough, you can have fun. And like John said, it's very, very apparent when we're watching you doing your work that you have prepared, because you are having fun with it. You are smiling, you're enjoying yourself. Even when I saw you walking through with Rich arm barging people, there was a smile on your face. Like you were enjoying it. You were there because you knew what you were doing.
Yeah, and because we all we love what we do, right? Like otherwise, I don't think we would be away from home so much. We wouldn't be disrupting life so much to go on these adventures. But no, thank you. And I agree. Everything that you just said then resonates so much with my a huge ethos of my presenting and reporting. The more prepared you are behind the scenes, the more you relax in front of camera. And if you're unprepared, it's written all over your face, because you're like, I mean, it's rabbit in headlights stuff, right? Because your adrenaline's through the roof anyway, regardless of how many years you've done it. There's a camera on you and hundreds of thousands of people are watching. And and then when you get caught off guard and you're unprepared, like I think the skill and experience comes from how do you react to those moments? Did something come up that you weren't aware of? Because, especially when fields are vast and you've got lots of different people, and, it's very easy to forget something, so that's where the experience comes in. But you don't want to see my laptop notes. I used to do it all in notebooks. I still keep all of my notebooks from every major competition. And I think my first CrossFit Games one was like this thick, and it's like a scrapbook. I've stuck and pasted photos of everybody. I've gone and had them all on the phone to talk about like what they're up to in their lives. Each athlete in each team had a whole page, and it's just like this thick scrapbook of information. But I used to have one of those for every single stop, like every job I did. Now I can now I've digitized, but my digitization notes are still pretty crazy, but at least it's a little bit easier. It's a bit more, it's just like a scroll rather than here is my A4 booklet.
I love that though. I love the idea of like an old folded book with like things poking out of it and just bound, and amazing.
Sorry, you're hearing my husband on a call in the background. This is how we operate.
Oh yeah, of course. Henrik's just said, I asked Roger for WFP, WFP, no reply. I'd imagine he's probably washing his hair.
It's above my pay grade.
Yeah. We'll figure it out, won't we? Do you find backstage, I don't know how often you'd have done that at Rogue because you're very much front facing, but do you find, is there a difference between how the athletes are backstage across the different events? So compared WFP to Rogue to the games to other licensed events that you do in the CrossFit world, the same group of athletes moving around, do you feel like they're potentially different? Are they more relaxed? Are they less relaxed? Are they more interactive with you? Are they because some athletes just go into themselves, don't they? They when they're backstage, the nerves, they're thinking, they're apprehensive, they're doing that.
Yeah, and understandably so. Their entire livelihoods depend on these very few moments throughout the year. So I totally, you can understand why when things get stressful that they revert away from interaction.
Mm.
I can't speak to Ro because I've not spent enough time backstage.
No.
Yeah, just because I'm always obviously out front entertaining you guys.
Yeah.
I've been back a few times to try and do some like little like insert hits, but I haven't spent enough time there. What is
Mm.
really noticeable is so my main interaction in these moments, and it has been since my very first days working sanctionals, is to interact with the coaches. It's something that I was taught very early on through rugby, is especially in those heat of moment scenarios. You don't go to the athletes, you leave the athletes to focus on what they're going through, but
Mm.
you can go up and interact with the coaches. So a lot of my information comes directly from coaches. So when I input stuff into broadcasts, it's because I've gone and had a natter with someone, and those guys I feel are actually, it's fairly consistent, but that as you near towards finals, and who are on cut lines, and those are the people where if they are interacting with their athlete, like, you leave them alone. And there'll be certain people that are way more open to speaking regularly than others, so you choose your moments to go up to certain coaches because you don't want to be harassing them every single kind of day, but you want to go to them and get something in the most important moment for the
Mm.
storytelling of their athlete. And obviously some I've become very good friends with over the years and see everywhere all the time. So
Mm.
especially those who have come across now into the high rock space, I can see
Yeah.
the proven team, for example, like, I don't know, 8-9 times a year. So that really helps with like just generally getting to know people and then feeling comfortable giving information across to you that I can then use, and they'll always know that I'll use it on broadcast because I'll preface it, can I use this on
Mm.
broadcast?
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of athletes and their interactions, um, it is noticeable. The difference between semi-finals, the games, and WFP was noticeable in year one.
Right.
And I think, and we've discussed it a lot, I think because the nature of the CrossFit season is that that was always going to be your last opportunity, whether it's semi-finals or whether it's the games, it's your last opportunity. So the stress is irrevocably higher.
Mm.
Whereas the first two tour stops, that was never really the last opportunity for anyone. So in general, there wasn't that do or die in the same way, the same level of stress on shoulders, because there were opportunities to pick up points as the season continued on.
Yeah. 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 For sure. So, all right. Here's a bit of a left field question. So, have you ever been in a position where you've seen something go wrong, whether it be an event organization or like a coach getting something wrong? Have you ever witnessed that and sort of stood back and just watched things unfold, or do you tend to just go, all right, I'm not needed here, and then walk away? Does that ever happen at any of the events?
That's never happened, but I am very much of a, this is not my area. I'm out. Like, if it's, and similarly, if someone asks me not to broadcast something or not to say something, I would
Yeah.
also follow that line. Like, we're here
Mm.
ultimately to kind of to work together. I'm not holding people to account. I'm not
No.
CNN or NBC or the BBC. Like, we're here to make an environment where people feel safe exchanging
Mm.
information, not
Yep.
like
Yep.
judged and pushed.
Mm.
There
Trust.
are other, yeah, like, my role is about building trust. I think there are other people's roles out there where maybe that can be flirted with a bit more, but
Mm.
I need people to want to trust me with the information that they give me, that it will be expressed in the correct way. But yeah,
Yeah. Of course.
I've never actually been put in that position, which is, thank God. I'm not very good with conflict. I'm
Right.
like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I'm going now.
Yeah. 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 No, that's true. No, I just thought it seems like events tend to run really smoothly, and like with a coach in a class, sometimes something will go wrong, sometimes an athlete's going to get injured, sometimes a coach is going to say the wrong thing if I'm watching or if I'm in the class, and it's one of those where I think you just have to make a call, but like I would never break the trust of anyone. So no, I think yeah, you're right. There's certain times where you just have to back off and let things go.
Yeah, I think
um
it's very easy when you're all in and you know the different departments to feel like your help or your input is valued in a certain scenario. But I feel like if
mm,
it's not broadcast and it's not my space, then I am just an extra irrelevant voice and I am in the way.
mm.
Like, I don't need to be getting myself involved in anything that isn't my immediate job and doing the best I can for my immediate job.
No, and I do agree with that. So the whole point in this channel that we've set up in the last sort of 5 weeks now, is we wanted a UK focused channel that pulls together different voices from the different areas of our industry. So predominantly CrossFit, obviously. We've got CrossFit UK doing shows on here. We've got Gareth and Andy coming on once a month. We've got Hannah Mitu, who brings a completely different kind of breath of fresh air from just a male dominated scene, that all look like me saying the same.
So one thing you'll learn about my home is that the signal is dreadful.
Hello, can you hear me again?
He's back.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened there. I can only apologise.
I say, was it you or was it me? Because it's normally me.
No, I don't know. It's probably me, living in Mordor.
It's okay. Well, I'm in the Welsh valleys, you know.
Okay, you win. So where was I? What was I talking about? Someone remind me. Oh, the channel.
Over.
So this channel is all about the UK. We've got Hannah coming on talking about gaps in our field, gaps in our knowledge, bringing to light and promoting people that are in our space that are doing incredible things. The legacy that we are going to leave behind in terms of what we can do, and what we've got with CrossFit is so much more powerful than just training people in the gyms. We've got Abby Wynne Jones, who's an adaptive games athlete, who comes on weekly with me and discusses all things training, but specifically about, like, we had a session yesterday on the show where she was simply telling us her calculations and her thought process for point one and her adaptions that she's had to make. And last night we were on WhatsApp for 2 hours as our group, trying to figure out how she was going to get over the box with the ball, like logistically, with her ankle with no dorsiflexion and then her hip with no. Yeah. We're trying to figure it out. Stephen had a hedgehog under his arm, like a big toy hedgehog, not a real one. Trying to figure out over a stool. It adds so much more thought and process. The creativity behind the adaptive athletes is insane, and I found that out what adaptive. We've got Farron coming on, Farron McKay, who is a very, very experienced L3 who's doing other things at the moment. She owns a coaching development group and she puts out this incredible content. She does talks with CrossFit for affiliates. And we've got Stephen, who is an affiliate owner, who is incredible, very entertaining. He's 6'4", and isn't afraid to discuss things. And we've got me and John, and we've got Steve, who's got his own podcast, but he's come onto the channel and he's a brand owner in the UK. The whole point in this channel is to just push forward and gather all the voices from within our scene in the UK and put it into one platform. People will just know where to come to watch all of it. It will all be here. I think we need to do a better job in the UK of actually talking about what we've got. Now, the point I was trying to make, bringing it back to what you said, was I think there's a very distinct difference in the way that our media is presented in the UK as to the US. So all you have to do is look at the likes of CNN, Fox News, and compare that to the BBC, Sky News. The way that we absorb information and talk and navigate our way around politics, in specifically politics in the news, even sport. Like you look at the way that sport is commentated and discussed. It's very neutral. It's very, based around like how well are the athletes doing. It's a very different thing. There's less of the like flags.
I can tell you, I can give some insight into that, because I think there's a really distinct change in the last 4 years in the UK when it comes to sports broadcasting, and it's it's been brought about by Warner Bros. Discovery coming in and taking over a huge amount of the sporting rights that were not dominated by, Sky, BBC, ITV. Now, BBC and ITV have come from news gathering first and foremost. So their approach to sport, if you ever watched the Six Nations, I don't know if you watched that one Sonia McLaughlin interview with Owen Farrell, and Sonia grills him. And honestly, it was for no real reason other than they lost. There's always going to be a loser in a rugby game. And it wasn't like a horrific, this is the worst thing ever. But he got destroyed by this reporter. And that's how we used to operate our interactions, right? It was holding power to account. That was the thing. And anyway, that was kind of how I was brought up to a certain extent. They were used to be like, watch Sonia, how Sonia does it. That's how we do reporting. You have to hold these coaches and players to account. And then Warner Bros. Discovery, or first BT softened it, I would say. And they went, oh, no, we also want to do features to show personality and bring, let's experience more of them. And then Warner Bros. Came in and they have now gone, no, we don't do holding to account anymore. We do celebration. We look at the best. And now, because of that move, if you then watch the coverage of ITV Six Nations this year, especially with Wales, it's a perfect example because Wales are really dire at the moment at rugby union. It's getting pretty difficult for us. But they're always trying to look for the positive, rebuilding phases. That was better than last week. Yes, this is disappointing, but look at what has happened and what we can draw positivity from. And that is such a big change from like 4 or 5 years ago. And I think that that is now becoming the norm, which is great because it much better suits my approach to how I do that job. But it does mean that when you get all this like heavy kind of brash negativity, that I think as a nation we go, oh, that's a lot. Like, oh, why are you attacking them like that? And like it's almost like we're not used to that kind of slightly more aggressive relationship between media and sport. And then, like you said, the yeehaw definitely exists and I love it. And that's why American sport is so entertaining, is the faces of it are actually as much the stars as the athletes. Again, something that I've never been like, that's not something that I've been taught. We are supposed to blend into the background and just be a portal to push the athletes forward. Whereas in America, those people are the superstars. And I think that what comes with that is a huge amount of personality, and it is really fun. It's just different to, like you said, how we consume sport.
Yeah. And again, it's not to knock what the Yanks do with their sports commentary.
I love how they do sports commentary. It's just different. Like it's also like our human interactions as a nation, right? Like we're very polite and don't want to rock the boat, or at least certainly I like to think I am kind of polite, and I do rock the boat sometimes. I'm pretty opinionated, but in general, I'd say as a nation we're a bit more, we'll sit on the fence, we'll see what happens. We're pretty liberal. You don't need to be polarized. Every side can have a voice, and I feel like that's not the American way. It's not. I mean, it's not just American, right? There are plenty of countries that have different ways of interacting. I mean, you take some of Europe, it's far more like in your face aggressive if you want to get a point across.
And again,
it's just an interesting.
But what I've found, and what we kind of found over the last sort of 18 months or so of doing these kind of things, was that I don't know if the UK affiliate audience is quite ready for the brash yeehaw podcast thing about what they do. I'm not convinced, because it's been there for years and it's not really absorbed or watched or viewed. Now, that may well be because it's not giving the content about them per se, rather than highlighting what's going on overseas and abroad. The other thing to bear in mind is that our competitive spirit is very different. Like you've just highlighted, the way that we explore things, the way that we talk about, like Hunter McIntyre personalities. Like,
I love him though. I love him. He's so good for the sport.
He's the best. You need that. And the thing is, like we've talked about this, and Harry Lightfoot is, for me, like seeing him at Rogue running around in that Celtic top when he did the thing. That was the first glimpse that I've ever seen of a big personality at a CrossFit event, especially one that's British. Like, I've never seen that before. And I think we have got, as a culture, like, you talk to people and like the old cliche of Americans not understanding irony or sarcasm. I don't think that's necessarily true. I just think we have a unique flavor. And the other thing is that our language absorbs a lot of our emotion. And the way that I put that is like, when rather than just holding a door open for someone, we always have to preface it with, "Oh, let me get that for you." Okay. That is me telling you that I've done something for you. And it's like, "Oh, can you say thanks to me, please?" Like, our language has become how we regulate our emotions rather than the volume that we speak at. And so it's a really different media arena. Now, we are very fortunate in the CrossFit world, where CrossFit is an American private company. It's not a sport, in my opinion. It's not the same as a regular sport. It's like a lot of the other American sports, the NFL, NBA, MLB, even the MLS. It's very private owned, internal American. It's not truly global. But that's the thing. I grew up loving that. I grew up with Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls, and then Dan Marino and the Miami Dolphins, and that kind of Americana I thought was really bloody cool.
Did you or did you not want to go to an American high school?
Well, I kind of did, but I know this is going to be really, really hard to believe. I was a bit of a loser when I was younger, right? I wasn't this cool, suave person that I am now. And I always watched the American high school films and dramas like the OC and
Yeah.
what was the other one with the One Tree Hill. So like watching that,
Chad Michael Murray.
Yeah. Where's he
But
now?
no.
But yeah, I grew up thinking I would have been who was the, like, I don't want to say ugly, that's horrible, but he was the ugly guy in One Tree Hill. I can't remember his name. He had like red hair and he was like the sidekick guy that wasn't one of the Scots. I would have been him at school. So I would have been the one
Jake.
that no one, and I'm not after pity because I think I grew out of it, but a mouth, there we go, mouth. See, I would have been mouth when I was at school.
Yes.
Whereas in English schools, I kind of like merged into back because I think generally speaking, we're a lot less cool than America. So at school, our kids and our teens aren't as cool, and we don't look anywhere near as old. Like, and I know that that's high school dramas. They're all like 37-year-olds that are playing 15-year-olds. But like, I found myself thinking I wouldn't be anywhere near as cool. So I kind of went into I like Englishness. I just like being all calm and quiet and this like little thing hiding. But CrossFit has certainly helped bring out that in a lot of people around the world. It's bringing a little dose of Americana into the gyms where we can decide if we go with it or not. Like, we can decide. And do you know one of the best things that's come out of CrossFit? Every now and again, you'll see two people have a really awkward high five in an affiliate. And then you're like, you did it. You did a high five. And they've never done one before. And they're like, oh, high five. And they go, oh, I like that. Whereas
the problem, I think, and this is an affiliate-wide problem, the high five or the fist pump.
Oh, yeah. You get a weird, like,
because that's me every single time. Because I don't know, because when I'm on the road, I feel like we high five more, probably because I'm in more American environments. So I go back to my affiliate and I'm like,
yeah, the weird.
Oh yeah, it's a fist bump. I remember.
Yeah. So we at my old affiliate, we had this whole thing where we would do a Bluetooth fist bump. So if you were across the room and you didn't want to do a Bluetooth, you could just go Bluetooth like that. And it was like across the room, you used to do a Bluetooth fist bump. But that was our little thing that we did.
I enjoy that greatly. Bluetooth.
Thank you. Yeah, Jon slaps butts. Yeah, hopefully not today.
That's you see, that's come from other sports. I don't feel like that's it might be a CrossFit thing, but it's not been a CrossFit thing in my experience.
No.
But in rugby, absolutely, there's a lot of butt slapping.
But herein lies the thing. Harry is from a rugby background.
Yeah, he's in fact the epitome of a rugby lad. If you watch how he interacts and the fun, and so it's basically my other half's rugby background. So like how they interact and their gregariousness and being out there and a little bit like it's brilliant. It's because it's actually all rooted as well in a really like kind team building kind of
Yeah.
leadership place as well. But they just have this side to them where they can get people enthused and get people like excited and on side. And
Mm.
I saw a thing he put up in I think I don't know who he was with. Maybe it must be Adidas or something, but he's on a bus and he's getting everyone to sing along on the bus. And I was like, I've never seen a more rugby thing in my
Yeah.
life, you know?
Good, isn't it? Hey, okay,
No,
here's
he's
a
a
question
legend.
then. Here's a question then. I know I've got 5 more minutes with you, if that's all right.
You're all good. I'm just keeping an eye. I've got calls. Lots of
Okay,
calls
sorry.
today.
So firstly, obviously, your partner's from a rugby background.
Yeah,
The women over the last 14 years, and I'm going to branch off to the female thing
yeah.
here. The
Let's go.
women that I've known in CrossFit that have been the quickest to adopt those classic masculine energy types in the gyms, when there is the rugby tackles, there's the a bit of physicality, a bit of boisterous and banter in the gyms. They've all come from a rugby background. All the women at my old gym, because we used to live 20 minutes from Twickenham, and we used to have a really big rugby scene where we're at. A lot of the women that came in just walking straight off the street into it. There's a woman called Sarah Butler who is doing amazing things. She would work with Harlequins, and she's on stage talking about women in sport and getting more people, that kind of thing. She's coming on the show with Hannah later in the year. She was a member at my gym, and we talked about this a decade ago about the introduction of, because I think a lot of women through lack of exposure or fear or whatever it might have been, and societal kind of demands, I don't know if they've had the exposure to that type of energy in a working environment like the gym environment. And I think CrossFit potentially is the first time that some women are going to feel that energy and be welcomed into it and encouraged to be part of that.
Yeah.
Have you found that at all?
Yeah, 100%. But I think what we've got is like CrossFit in itself is an individual sport that is done in what feels like a team environment. So I don't think it's limited to rugby. I think if you've come from hockey, if you've come from
Yes.
any sort of kind of slightly physical sport, I guess you could include ice hockey in that, rugby union, rugby league, football, but you come into a CrossFit gym and you understand what it means to be in a team environment, and it is this boisterousness and this fun and this piss taking and
Yeah.
sarcasm, and I think that they just see more of what they used to have in their team environment in the four walls of an affiliate, and they feel very
Mm,
comfortable there. It's the area they've known their entire life, and it's those people you rely on as an affiliate owner to keep energy high and to keep things fun, because you then do get the individual sport people, the people who maybe have just come from gym going backgrounds or have never stepped into a gym before, or I mean, even if they did individualized sport like that didn't have a team kind of support system, maybe like tennis or something. Those people come in here and they need to be taught what it means to be in a team environment. And that's where your rugby girls and boys
yeah.
help
Yeah.
them
Yeah.
feel like right at home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
the banter is the best bit, right? Like the shit talking
oh,
and especially around the open. Like
yeah.
one
Yeah.
one of the youngest members of our gym walked up to my husband the other day and he was like, "Oh, you've got a bit of a monk's patch. Have you considered a toupee?" And we were like, "What? Excuse you, Emrys?"
I love
And
that.
but that like the confidence to have, he's like 20. My
Mm,
husband's 35. Oh no, he's
mm,
37 and the owner of the place, like
hmm.
for
Yeah.
him to have that confidence, you don't get scenarios like that very
But you,
often. And I
you,
think the gyms allow that to happen.
you talk about safe spaces. Like, what better place is there than the affiliate where everyone's treated exactly equally badly? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
we're like,
exactly.
it's great, isn't it? Everyone's,
You
you
know,
walk in there.
if you have a bad nickname, you're actually in the crew. If
Yeah.
you've got
Yeah.
a really demeaning nickname.
Yeah. Oh, that's why they all call me that word. That's fine then.
Yeah.
Um, so okay, final thing then. So the open, obviously we touched on it earlier about how important it is. As an affiliate owner, like you guys, obviously from your socials, I can see that it is, a big thing for you. And Friday Night
Yeah,
Lights
it's it's
is the
it's
big deal.
it's we have maybe like three big events through the year. One is the open, one is the in-house open that we do. We call it the closed. So yeah, and we do that at 6 months after the Open. Those are our two big competitive ones, and then we have our anniversary party. They're like our three cornerstones of social throughout the year.
And so I know this is a very, very big, broad question that you might not have an answer to, but what's the one biggest takeaway that you have post Open? So when the Open is finished, as a gym owner, what is the biggest takeaway that you have from the Open?
Big question.
Yeah.
I think it would be that everyone goes into it for different reasons. I think it could be very easy for us to assume that everyone does the Open for the same reason, whether that, like, you know, that's for leaderboard. But the more you work with individual people, we really impress starting like getting in and involved in the Open as early as possible. So even if we finish an intake of new members a week before the Open, and we encourage them all to come and take part in the scaled, because it gives them a real sense of what the community is and their first marker going forward. But alongside them, they might have, you know, the 65-year-old who wants to get through without aggravating her knee. You might have the me who's just come back from traveling and, you know, wants to go hard but isn't where they are normally, but doing it amongst friends in a safe environment and like pushing yourselves to where you are right now. You have, you know, the person who's just come back from having kids, and then you've got, you know, the dad with a kid on the side watching, or the family comes down. Like I mentioned, the first is like the dogs and the cakes and the pies, and it's it means something to every different type of person, not just like, it's not a leaderboard thing, it's a community gathering. It's like a moment where everyone gets together and makes an effort to keep that day free in their calendar to like catch up with people within the affiliate. And I think it really, like, it highlights the community that you build within your four walls, as opposed to just the fact that it's an event. Like, it's like, how strong is your community and how many people buy in to, you know, the Friday night lights in that time of year. So I guess my main takeaway is it's not really about one thing, it's about like a million things, and it's completely individualized to the person who takes part. And on that, I also am obviously heavily invested in the competitive season, and I love that we can follow the top end of our sport and their progress, and we can obsess over their placings on the leaderboard, because as a sports fan, that's always going to be super cool that it runs concurrently with what the affiliates are also experiencing.
Yeah. 100%. And all of that perfectly put. It's a bit like the FA Cup for me. Like,
yeah, it's just like the FA Cup.
Like you could be playing Man United in the next round, and you're like, you know, some like 8th tier club, and you're like, whoa, like I start at the same point as them. I love that answer.
I can give you a little bit of insight there. So I knew Lauren Weeks was obviously doing it. I messaged her and I was like, oh, like, how did it get on? We actually spoke yesterday. I was like, oh, how'd you go on? She's like, oh, I'm going to redo actually, because I'm so close to getting it finished. So I think that the score that you mentioned was her redo score. And I was like, oh, cool. Well, I haven't been able to walk for 4 days. So she's like, oh, my triceps hurt a little bit. I was like, cool. We're on very different levels.
Yeah, go away. Yeah, that's lovely. But we need those people with what we do. We need them to demonstrate what we can do with what we are doing. So I love the fact that we do have them. Lauren, what's next for you? What's the next thing? When will we see you next?
I fly to DC the day after tomorrow. We have got the North America Regional Championships, which will be the top 15 athletes and doubles pairings from America, Canada, South America, competing for one spot at World Championships. So it's kind of like a last chance qualifier, but done regionally. So we've got that. Then we'll go to Brisbane, and we've got it in Brisbane, and London. And those are the 3 regionals. In amongst there, WFP London, and then and then Warsaw, which is the final major of the season. And that's all the next 2 months. So it's a really busy time of year.
Wow.
Woo! Sports.
As I said, Yeah, as I said, you're the only human with more miles on the clock than Neil Armstrong. So fair play to you to keep going.
It's
Lauren,
fun, isn't it? It's all fun.
thank you so much for your time. I know you're a very, very busy human. So thank you very much.
No, it's
And
good to chat.
good luck with the next couple of weeks of the Open. And yeah, thanks for joining me. And I can't wait to see you in the flesh at one of the events soon.
Yes. Fingers crossed.
Nice one. Cheers, guys. Thanks
See
for
you soon.
watching. See you soon.